Hey folks, Jen Lehner here of jenlehner.com, and I wanted to talk to you about your word of the year. I've been thinking a lot about this over the last couple of weeks, and I've never really had a word of the year, but I really like the idea of it. And I heard a friend of mine talking about it in terms that made a lot of sense to me. Because I'm the kind, for me, if something isn't useful, I just don't see the point. Like, I'm not real big on just like decorum and so forth. So it's like, it's got to be, I'm a very practical person. So if we're going to do a word of the year, you got to show me like a good, hard reason why we're doing that. Like, how does that actually work? Does it just make you feel good? Is it just one more like little fluffy thing that we do to say that we're doing it to distract us, yada, yada. But I was super convinced when I heard this friend talking about it, because what she said was she was able to filter every decision that year through, she had two words, through those two words. And it basically, that helped her so much, because if the thing did not fit in those two categories, it was a hard no, goodbye. And right. And so that kept her so focused. And I'm like, yes, I really, really like that. So Shauna's word is simple. And I love that. I love that. But the word that I'm going to suggest that everybody add to as their word of the year. So you don't have to have just one word of the year. So if you've already picked your word, add this to your word. And if you haven't picked your word, let this be your word. Okay. Are you ready? It is consistent, because that has been a revelation to me this year, particularly 2019 for me, was a year when I've been the most consistent that I've been on anything in my life. I was consistent on so many things all year long. And it pays off exponentially when you are consistent. So if you do something small, but good for you, good for your business, every single day, there's an exponential reward. There's an exponential effect. So let's think of some ways that you can be consistent, and let's make it gentle enough and doable enough that it's not, we are not going to consistently climb a mountain every day. Like, that's not what I mean. And the other thing is, consistency does not equate with, it's not synonymous with every day or perfection. So, okay, good. Who is this? I cannot see. It says, was having trouble deciding between words, and I decided I already knew it. Decide. I love it. Yes. Make a decision. Like, just decide. Like, that's a really good word. And decide consistently. So let's talk about some things that we want to be consistent with, and realistic ways that we can be consistent. So you hear me talk about it all the time, but my flash briefing, oh, hey, Barbara, my flash briefing, I consistently do every morning, Monday through Friday, but I let myself take the weekends off. That happens no matter what, Monday through Friday. And I really never look to see how many people are listening. I mean, that's bad marketing on my part. But it's because the reason that I don't really look much at the analytics behind my flash briefing is, first of all, I see the growth because people come to join my Facebook group. They send me messages, they purchase things, and they tell me that they found me on my flash briefing. So like, I know it's working, but the reason that I don't care about the analytics is because of the consistency. So many other things, it has bled or spread into so many aspects of my life. I have to get up early. Hi, Hortensia. Feliz Navidad. So it has been, okay. So like, I have to get up early to do my flash briefing. And so since I was getting up earlier than normal, then I started consistently thinking, wow, I really like getting up early like this every single day. What else can I do? So I started going to yoga every day. Now it's like yoga / walking every day. Either way, consistently, I'm doing that because consistently I'm already up. Then it was like, wow, I'm up. What else can I add to this? I'm really digging this morning thing. So I started doing morning pages every morning. And again, I give myself the weekends off, but it was like, wow. And now I'm like this consistent person. And guess then what happened? So then this feeling of like, wow, like I think I've turned into a very disciplined person. Like who thought that was going to happen? With my bed made, journaling done, exercise done, content created. And so I felt differently about myself. And so I started eating better. Right. And sort of, I have just shifted over the course of about 3 years, really 4 years, like the whole way, my whole lifestyle has changed. But I'm just saying it just started with one simple act. So this year, I know one of the things I want to be consistent on is my podcast. So I'm not great with my podcasts. I feel a lot of pressure with my podcasts. And so I want to create 52 podcasts next year, no matter what. That will be one podcast a week. I've just declared it publicly. So now I sort of have to. But what are small things? Like, tell me in the chat, like, what is it that you would like to do consistently? I mean, and I would like you to be thinking about content creation specifically, because so many of us will watch a really inspiring webinar or we'll watch a course and someone will make a case for something, right? I'm guilty of that. You might hear me talk about Alexa flash briefings or somebody else talk about Pinterest, and Pinterest is just the greatest. And you're getting hit with all these things. You're like, oh, I need to do that. I need to do that. I need to do that. And the next thing you know, you have so many things, you do none of it. And or you do a little here, you stop, you do a little here and you stop. So you have to have an honest conversation about that one thing that you could do. And I would like it to be every day, so it feels truly consistent, right? Like an everyday thing that you could do, or Monday through Friday. What could you do that would that is doable for you and that you kind of enjoy? Because that's important. So I'll give you an idea. There's a website called Quora, Quora.com, Quora.com. And Quora is a place where it's like Reddit. People go and they ask questions and anybody can answer them. And you could make it a habit to answer one question a day on Quora. Guess what happens? It's so cool. So if you were to do that, Quora, it's like Medium, is going to get your content seen by more people. You're going to be seen as an expert over on that platform. You can add links and video and all sorts of stuff to any post over there. Okay. It's highly, highly searchable. And also you get your own like unique URL page of all the questions you've ever answered. So you could say, for example, you just want to answer questions. I see Mike is in the house. So Mike could just go to Quora and every day answer a question. Let's just say Monday through Friday. Mike answers a question every day that is in the financial realm, because Mike is all about finances, right? Personal finances, financial planning, all that kind of stuff. So he picks maybe even like a little pocket niche of that, and he answers that every single day. That takes him 5-10 minutes. He's created content that day, and no matter what else he does for the rest of the day, he's created content. And again, it's just little. But if he looks back 365 days from today, when he started doing the Quora, it's a masterpiece, right? It is a masterpiece of content, and he can do so much with that and repurposing that content later. And Akanksha, hi Akanksha. It's true. One wonderful thing leads to another, and being consistent is the key, but I struggle with it. I'm going to start small, being consistent every day, Monday through Friday. I love it. Yes, do start small. Consistency is so hard because we say, I'm going to get up at 5 a.m. every day and go to the gym. No, you're not. Yeah, that's so hard. I mean, you might get to that, right? Like, so maybe it's better to start small, like a little small thing. I'm going to get up, and the minute that my feet hit the ground, I'm going to do 5 push-ups. I'm going to do 5 push-ups every day. And actually I've started doing that. So 5 push-ups every day. Who can't do that? It's so easy. And then of course it's like any building a habit. Then you just do it on autopilot. And here's the other thing. Once you do this, and like it builds so much confidence in yourself that you actually could do this and that you did do this. And you just feel so strong and confident, and creating new habits becomes a superpower. Suddenly, like you've unlocked something, because you're like, if I could do this, oh, I could build this habit, and it becomes a game. It becomes fun. Like what can I challenge myself with next? And it's absolutely thrilling. So you could do this any time of year. I just really love this time of year because it's not about a resolution as much as it's about, and it's not about an intention, because it's a commitment, right? You're going to make a commitment to yourself to do this one little thing consistently. Like, what is that going to be? And yes, Mike, I think Quora would be great for you. Sounds like good cross promotion. Posting link to Quora on Facebook page. You could post yes. So like, you could, and it could also become like an archive, an FAQ sort of, right? So like if somebody were to ask you a question over, or let's say you're in a Facebook group where this would be allowed, and someone has a problem with something. Oopsie, somebody is, sorry, let me turn my phone off. Okay, there we go. Let me put that on mute. I thought it was. So, oi. Sorry, I don't know how to turn the sound off. I have no, there we go. Oh my God, it's still talking. Okay, hold on a minute. I'm going to just turn the phone off. Okay, done. Okay. Yeah. So you could say, I just answered this question over on Quora, link to your answer. Or you could link it. You could easily cross promote it on Facebook, Twitter, anywhere else. What else? So like, let's talk about health. Let's talk about our diets. Do you have to give up all carbs, just because you know that's going to help you probably lose weight if that's what you want to do? Maybe not, but maybe you start off. And actually, I don't think that's as giving up something isn't as fun as adding something, right? Like, I think it's better to add something. It feels like you're building, like you're growing. When you say, okay, I'm going to eliminate something, that feels very bad. I mean, like you're depriving yourself of something. So ultimately, they may be one and the same. So you would say like, I am going to eat vegetables only 5 days a week. Obviously that eliminates meat, but you're not saying I'm not eating no meat. It's just like a slight thing that you tell yourself that just kind of works for me. Yes, I love that. It's a declaration. You're making a declaration, not a resolution. So I don't know. What do you think about this? Like, are you, I just think here's what I want to say is that the older I get and I think about consistency, I feel like it is the key to success in every single component of our lives, every single part of our lives, right? To be successful in parenting means we need to be to be successful as a parent, you need to be consistent. We're not always going to be consistent, but like that's what we strive to be. Like our kids need to know that we are consistently there for them, that we are consistently honest, that they can count on us. It's all about like for all the mistakes you could ever make as a parent, if you are just consistently, more often than not, this thing, then you're getting it right, like most of the time, right? Same thing as being a spouse. It's so hard. Like it's so hard to be consistent, but it's the more we can be, the better off our relationships are. Being a consistent friend, showing up for our friends. That's something that I'm going to do more this year. I have been so immersed in my work that I haven't been like calling up my good friends to say, let's go for a walk, let's go have coffee, and that sort of thing. So friends is on my word list because I really want to be, I want to be more proactive. They are the ones that always call me and ask me to do stuff. So I need to flip that a little bit, right? Evolution, not resolution. I like that. I've never heard that. Christopher says, I'm a musician and every year I focus on a specific note. For 2020, I'm focusing on C sharp, as in C sharp. Oh, I love it. Have a clear vision. Ah, that is so good. Let me just look at that for a minute. That is, yeah, that is really, really good. I love that. It's you version. Oh, I love it. You guys are so clever. Love, love, love it. And if you want your name to show in the comments or on the screen, you just have to up here. It says something about StreamYard. Just click on it, and it gives Facebook permission to show your name. So what else? So consistency in work, obviously, or we're going to circle back at the end to our work, but consistency, parenting, consistency in with our partners, consistency with our health and the way that we live in our, getting to bed early or at a decent time every night, waking up at the time that works best for us and serves us best. Because I'm not going to say get up early, because that doesn't work. That doesn't necessarily work for everybody. But yeah, it's just consistency. I just can't think, like, whatever other word we choose, consistency is the thing that unlocks the magic. That it's the miracle grow that you put on your tomato plant. It's everything. And it doesn't have to be hard. That's the thing. Like, consistency just seems so like drudgery, boring, no room for spontaneity, but that's not what it is at all. It is showing up for yourself regularly. So now I want to tie it back in. Hey, Wendy, and hey, Nancy. And Nancy says that must focus and get things done. So that's Nancy's word of the year. And of course, consistency. She's going to add consistency as well. And last 2 years were about education. This year will be about implementation. Love it, Barbara. Love it. Okay. So circling back to business, and developing, growing our audiences, and making more sales, that also comes back to consistency. So now what we need to think of, so for example, we need to consistently have an offer, right? Like, a lot of us will have an offer and we put it out there and then that's done. So we launch something and we work. And then that happens. And then what happens after that? Either you've got something planned and you're going to launch again, or there's a bunch of downtime where you're trying to figure it out, like what's going to come next. So, now we're getting beyond a little bit consistency. We're talking about planning and being strategic with your year. But I do think that, let's say you have a flagship product, you have a flagship course, it really should be consistent in the way that you offer it. Your offers need to be consistent. Unless it's just like a one-time thing that you're doing for people. But consistent content is really what it all comes back to. So people aren't really going to find you. They're not going to connect with you. They're not going to feel like they understand you, unless you show up consistently. And the thing is, I think a lot of us are shy in the beginning. I know that I was. I mean, there's nothing about me that's shy, but apprehensive of like annoying people because you didn't want to be too loud. And I think that's natural. But as we all know, like, there's a lot of noise and people are so busy. So I really appreciate it when I see, like, something will flash, and I bet you can agree with this, like something will flash across my screen and I'll be like, oh yeah, oh, that looks really good. But I don't have time. I'm like in transition. And then I can't find it again. So I appreciate it so much when that creator is back, and maybe she's talking about the same thing. It's all good. I don't care. You don't care either. I just published the exact same posts on my business page that I posted yesterday, but I had to make a few changes, but I just decided not to delete the original one. I don't care that they're kind of like two posts back to back, because I know that you, the viewer, you're not coming to my business page like that. You're seeing content in your stream, and that's how I'm showing up to you. So you click on that. You're not like wonder what Jen's up to today and then going over to my Facebook business page. That's not how we do things. And Hortensia agrees that consistency is so important. Create anchors so you create the habits of consistency. Tell us more about that, Elizabeth. And Rolga says focus, pocus, and consistency. I love it. Always so creative. Elizabeth, I wonder if I could bring you on. I can. Do you want to come on and talk about that? I'm going to send you a link to come on over here and join us. And I am going to send that to you right now. Try clicking on this link that I put here. It's in the chat. So see if you can click on that and come and join us and tell us about the anchors. So yeah, that's it. That's I would love, but before we go, if some more people could put in their words in here, consistency, that is all. So do you have any other words, Saran, that you're focusing on this year, or have you ever had a word of the year? I know some people I've been watching in groups, because again, like I am really determined to I don't even have mine narrowed down exactly yet, but I'm going to end up with 3. Oh, Elizabeth's going to join us. Great. I am going to end up with 3, but one of them is faux show consistency. Possibility, says one viewer. Possibility. Love it. And just think, like right now, can you jot down on a piece of paper that you have next to you, just can you brainstorm some things, and we can brainstorm together some things that that you can do content wise consistently, truly being completely honest with yourself. Like what could you do on a regular basis every day, allowing for weekends off because everybody needs a break? What can you do? What kind of content can you commit to for every day? And there is Elizabeth. Hey Beth, what's up? How
are you?
I am doing well. You are a trooper.
I was on my phone. I'm like, oh shoot, let me get on my laptop.
That is impressive. All right, so go ahead, introduce yourself, tell us about your business, what you do, your URL, and then I'd like for you to talk about these anchors. Super interesting.
Sure. So my name is Larson. Oh, are you getting an echo?
I am. Let me put in my I wonder if I put it. Do you have any earbuds nearby? Sometimes StreamYard has an echo.
I don't. But let me.
All right, let me try mine. Actually, I'll leave and you talk, and then I'll be back.
Okay. So I am a high performance and happiness coach for women. And I was talking about, my website is www.bethlarsoncoaching.com. And I was talking about creating anchors to help create consistency. So one of the great tools that you have, the more that you can involve all of your different senses in the process in creating anchors, the more that you actually pull the new behavior or habit into your cellular memory. So if you can create anchors that are visual, auditory, taste, smell, any of the different types of anchors. So for example, people talk about using vision boards. Well, a vision board obviously is a very visual cue. But if you can have an anchor that is an auditory anchor, so maybe you have a theme song of the year, or what I do with a lot of my clients is I'll have them put a ringtone on their phone that is an anchor. So every single time they hear that ringtone, it's an anchor and a cue for them to ask themselves, what am I doing right now to be in intention with my declaration? What am I doing right now to be intentional about, about my behavior, about what I've declared for the year? So it's just a way of, like, every single time you do something, or you smell something, or you hear something, or you taste something, it's cueing the brain to click into the behavior and the habit that you're trying to create. Does that make sense?
I love it. Yeah, and it could be so fun. It's like we could okay, so for I could just say, okay, for consistency, I am going to associate this ginger oil.
Yeah.
So the smell of ginger is going to be consistent, and the color for consistency is going to be pink because it's always about the pink. And so, and maybe there's even an icon like
Yeah.
Like a ladybug. And
Perfect.
And is that what you mean?
Yeah, perfect. And then it can also be behavioral things. So like every time you walk through a doorway, it's a cue to do something, or it's a cue to perform a habit. Anytime you're standing in line to do something, or if you're sitting in traffic, those are specific cues that you're setting up. So it's just a way of like constantly anchoring yourself back into the behavior that you're trying to create.
Yeah, I love it. That's great. Thank you so much for sharing that. While you're here, would you mind sharing your word for the year?
My word for the year is vibrant. And so for me, that is in every part of my life. So it's vibrantly showing up for myself physically, vibrantly showing up for myself in my marketing and my copy. Vibrantly showing up means also being visible and putting myself out there. So, which is something I tend to shy away from doing.
But what does that look like specifically, like showing up vibrantly?
Yeah, so that you can actually see and feel the energy, that it's like palpable. Because when somebody goes really low energy and low vibration, it's a heavy. It's not it's not attractive, or it's attracting low energy things back to you. So
how will you do that? How are you going to do that? Are you going to play the Rocky song like before? I mean, like how will you do that?
Yeah, well, it's so funny because I actually have, a couple of things. So one thing I do is anchoring in with the laughter technique. So I use laughter every single day to actually stimulate the oxytocin and the serotonin and the dopamine in the body, and also help purge the body of excess cortisol and adrenaline, which are those stress hormones. And stress hormones keep you from being vibrant. So that's something that I do every single day. Just 3 minutes a day of laughter actually creates, it purges the body of cortisol and adrenaline, and it starts to create those happy hormones, which is a vibrant feeling and it comes across vibrantly.
I love that. So do you laugh by watching like some of your favorite YouTube videos?
I do. If you guys saw the woman at the Wawa.
Oh God, I cried. Yes.
Yeah, so that's one of my favorite ones. And then I just found the Chewbacca mask woman again the other day. I'm like, That one always does it for me. So yeah,
also,
I have a few on cue ready to go if I need it. But eventually you can also just all you have to do is close your eyes and you start to lift the corners of your mouth, and it starts the flow of the chemicals in your body once you've primed it enough. But most of us are under chronic stress and anxiety, so we kind of need to purge all that excess stuff out of our body first.
Yeah, I so agree. And I remember reading like Thich Nhat Hanh, or however you say his name, or some Buddhist person that was saying like, if you turn up the corners of your mouth ever so slightly, that someone even looking at you might not even see that you turn them over. And to practice doing that when you're doing the most mundane things, vacuuming, washing dishes, whatever, and watch what happens to your mood. I thought, and it works. I don't always remember to do that, but it's really amazing. And I have to add to the funny video list, like on my list of like when I really need a good laugh, where I know I'll cry, is I'll just go to Ellen DeGeneres' YouTube, and she's got this whole series of like when she is either in somebody's ear in the microphone, and like they have to go out in public and do whatever she like say what she says, and it's so hysterical. And she also has these segments where she jumps out and surprises people, and it's like I wet myself. It's so funny. But I'm just going to go with this just for a second longer, and then we'll get back to consistency and the word of the year. But I read a book in college by this guy named Norman Cousins that never left me because it was the most incredible story. He had this fatal cancer. It was like a really aggressive, like bone cancer, and his prognosis was very, very bleak. And so he took matters in his own hands, and he just basically said, if negative emotions can cause us bad health, which we know that they can, heart attack, stroke, all these things, then on the flip side, then laughter must do something good for us. And so this was back in the days of VCRs. And even then it was like super hard to get a VCR in your room with a TV, but he had like his favorite episodes of I Love Lucy and all his funniest shows. And he watched them all day and laughed all day. And then he combined that with like massive, potentially deadly doses of, vitamin C. I mean, like over the top intravenously. And when I read the book, it was already, he had outlived it like 20 years or something. He lived a long, happy life. Maybe he's even still alive. I don't know.
It's powerful. 72 hours of intentionally focusing on laughter and stimulating those chemicals in your body, natural chemicals in your body. 72 hours can make more progress than 72 years worth of therapy could for somebody.
Say that again. 72
hours of stimulating the proper hormones in your body and the proper brain chemicals in your body can make more progress for somebody who has anxiety or stress than 72 years worth of therapy could.
Wow. Well,
like it's powerful.
Sounds right to me.
It's powerful.
I definitely enjoy it more than therapy.
Yeah. And not to say, there's a place and time for therapy for people who need it, but it's amazing that our bodies are wired to actually do all these things on their own. And we just have created this toxic soup of stress that we tend to sit in. So.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. I really appreciate it. And what a trooper to just jump on like that. So have a happy holiday. And I'm just going to put those anchors to work.
Awesome.
Okay. See ya. Okay. Well, anybody else want to chat while we're here? I mean, this was a completely impromptu, spontaneous live stream, but I love having this discussion with you. I'd love to know more about like what you're planning for 2020 with your word of the year. We've got some good stuff here. Let's see here. Nancy says, my phrase for this year, which I continue, is take the time. I also beat the drum to my clients to be the one. So Nancy, you want to come on and elaborate about that? Feel free to. See what she says. You know what? That link, I'm going to put it back in here. So guess what? Anybody who clicks that link, we could have several people in here. Why not? So just click the link and pop right in and we'll chat a little bit more. I have to go to the hospital to see my mother-in-law. She fell. And I have to be there at 11, but my day has been all about like wishing people, by the way, like if you message people through your messenger app, like audio messages through Instagram and Facebook, have you noticed how good the audio quality is? It's like better than the telephone. And it's it's so easy to just pick it up and say, is to think about your favorite people, who you interact with online and send them a message. Well, it doesn't even have to be online people. It could be real people, but, I mean, you know what I mean? Not real people. Anyway, just saying, like, that's what I've been doing the last 10 days really, is just messaging people through Facebook Messenger. And if I haven't gotten to you yet, I will be chatting with you soon. So, okay. Nobody's going to click the link. Beth is the only thanks, Nancy. Beth is the only brave soul in the group. I do not believe this. Nancy, come on, click the link. Mike, let's do it. Rolga, definitely not afraid of going live. It doesn't matter if you're in your pajamas or you're having a bad hair day. Okay, so Mike's phrase is go live, but not right now, getting kids off to school. Okay, that's a good excuse. We'll give you that one. So that's perfect. This is great, you guys. So this is what I'm talking about. So if you could manage to go live every day, and I would even say if you could just consistently go live every Tuesday, every Wednesday, where people start to anticipate that, people will start to anticipate that. You will, of course, remind them via email, with your Facebook post, whatever it takes. You're going to make sure that people understand that you're going live every Monday through Friday at 2:00. You're every Wednesday, whatever. it's all about consistency. And it won't even be a year from now when you look back and go, holy cow, look at what I built. It will be 30 days from now. It will happen. It happens very quickly. And okay. And Rolga's driving at the moment too. So we're going to let Rolga off the hook. That's okay. Nancy, you're going to click that link. I double dog dare you. Okay. So that's it. Okay. But before we go, let's just brainstorm just a couple more ways, content wise, that we could be consistent. And I'm thinking like really doable things that you could do every single day. I think going live is definitely the most powerful thing that any of us could do. It just is, because people get a sense of who you are. But if you follow Chelsea Pites, and I'll put her name here in the chat on Instagram, I simply don't know anybody who is using stories better than Chelsea. She's hilarious. And she specializes in marketing for real estate agents, but anybody, whoever you are, will enjoy watching her. But the thing about Chelsea is that her story never ends. Her story never ends. And she is so perfect at weaving in her personal life, right down to, you see her wake up every morning and her hair is, the thing is though, she can pull it off because she's gorgeous. So even though she just woke up, her makeup is on from the night before and her hair is sticking up in every direction, she's still gorgeous. Okay. I don't know, like, if anybody would tune in a second time if they saw me when I woke up in the morning. So I don't, I'm not showing you when I wake up, but she wakes. So you see her when she wakes up, and then she's walking to get her coffee. And then, you might be thinking, that sounds so boring. Why would anybody, how is that related to business? But here's the thing. I feel that, I am friends with her, but I feel that had I never even spoken with her and had no connection with her, I would feel like I knew her. I would feel like she's like a girlfriend. Like, I definitely trust her. And so then we see her sit on the couch and she's getting ready to watch her favorite Netflix episode of some show. And oh my gosh, you've got to watch it, she says, because it's this and this. And then you see her kid, who could not be more adorable. Like, it's almost like she hired him to be like in her stories, because he's just so cute and he's just adorable. Anyway, so her kid shows up. So he's sort of a constant theme to her stories. And then we see her going to her meeting where she's going to be talking about messenger bots. And then we see her leaving her meeting and she's getting in her car and she's reflecting about, she can't wait to get home and, maybe have a glass of wine and what she's going to cook for dinner. And then we see her up, or maybe she goes from that appointment over onto the stage. She gets home, she kicks off her shoes, she puts on her socks or whatever. And then we see her working on her new book. You see what I mean? So like, yeah, we're getting a glimpse into her life. But we're also absolutely, she's creating authority, because it's like, oh, she's writing a book. Oh, she spoke on that stage. Oh, she's getting ready to fly out to speak again on another stage. Oh, she just gave me an amazing Instagram tip. And that's the other thing. She's always sharing like great Instagram tips. So boy, that was a really long explanation. But the point here is that it might be that for your consistency, you just say, all right, every day I'm going to show up in my stories, and you can just scribble down right now, like what, there should be a combination of things. And not trying to promote my new content planning system, frontrowceo.com/planner, but my content system is all about this, which is actually, you just sort of start with one piece of anchor content, right? So if for you, that might be a podcast, it might be a live stream. And then you could make it so that every day in your stories, you talk about some component of that piece of anchor content. And you consistently do that just every day in your stories. And so be thinking about that, because stories are super powerful. And now you could, when you post to your Instagram stories, you can at the same time post to your Facebook stories. So that's a really easy way to show up consistently. What's something else that is a powerful way to be consistent? Email. If you like to write, then just sending out consistent email, not sales emails, but like really thoughtful, consistent emails, the way that, you would write a handwritten letter. And hey, maybe that's your jam. Maybe you love to sit down and write handwritten letters, or maybe you don't want to write everybody a handwritten letter, but you hand address the outside of the envelope and you print copies of a letter that you send to everybody on Monday every week, and they come to look forward to this snail mail. And maybe you don't do that with your whole audience, but for the 20 people who have ever been your customers, the 100 people who have ever purchased anything from you from $1 to $10,000 and on, you're going to send them something in the mail every week consistently, and they know that that's coming. Wow. Can you imagine the impact that would make? Huge. Consistency. So I really talked way longer than I intended to. Thanks, Nancy, for doing that. If I miss anybody's words, then I apologize. I'm glancing here through. Oh, did we show Adam's word? Awareness. And Adam, I'd love for you to develop that a little bit and tell me what you mean by awareness. I would love to know. And of course, Nancy said focus. And I loved Chris's C sharp, as in C sharp, have a clear vision. Love that. We talked about how it's not an intention. It's not a resolution. It's more of a declaration. It's more of a commitment. I guess resolution and commitment are really the same thing. Let's see here. This is very timely. Holding my first vision board workshop and I'm making words of the year part of it. I have been just dying to do like an actual vision board where you glue sticks and, like a real vision board, not a digital one. I just am in the mood for that. And then my friend, and I'm going to share this with you as soon as she gives me the link, but my friend Miriam Schulman, who you may have heard on my podcast, she's amazing. And she's an artist and she is a watercolorist and she teaches people how to be artists and how to paint and all sorts of stuff. But one thing that she does that is so cool is she does an art journal. And it's not so much like a bullet journal. It's not like that. It's really sort of like, it's a journal, but it is like personal development, and it's art, and there's decoupage involved and markers and all sorts of stuff. Anyway, she did this great free 4-part video series. So I'm trying to get the link from her to share it with you guys so that you can see, but I've already ordered my supplies and I'm going to follow her little course and I'm going to do that. That's going to be my sort of vision board exercise that I'm craving. And so Adam says what he meant by awareness is being more present in the moments around me. I love that. So hard. It really is hard to do that. And Kim's word of the year is impactful. Yes, going to make an impact this year. Love it. And Nancy tells us she is still in her jammies, so she will not be coming live, although we would like to see her jammies, but that's okay. Have a wonderful day. If I don't see you before the holiday, have a fantastic, wonderful, restful, joyful holiday. If this is a tough time for you, hang in there, because technically Christmas is only 24 hours if you think about it that way. So go to the movies, occupy yourself, find a shoulder to cry on, and know that you are not alone. This is a hard time of year for a lot of people. So have a great, guys, a great day. And thank you so much for sharing your thoughts about word of the day. And remember, whatever your word is, please add consistency as your second word or your third word. Okay. Top it off with consistency. See you later.